I want to be able to trade how I like to trade in my zone and not have to manage other things. But the reality of it is that I'm a dad, and being a father is always going to come first for me on everything. And now I have to find my way around that, and that's going to be me losing hours of sleep. It's going to be me, having to take time to get out of my routine and do what it's necessary to be a family man and a father and accomplish everything in my life. And it's a sacrifice, but it's just a season. What is up, everybody? We are on the Trader Society podcast. I have Grant Hardy with me, and this is episode number 8. I mean, we're just grooving along,
8 already, wow.
Yeah. So in this episode, we kind of wanted to talk about like the real life journey behind the scenes and what it takes to like overcome maybe problems that you're having in your life and like how to deal with that while trying to maintain trading and being the best that you can be as far as all that managing of your time, the problems, and the struggles that come with real life. Now, Grant, you and I have both gone through some things in the last few years that are very challenging to any person.
For sure.
How are you managing that?
You just do it. You don't really have an option.
Yes.
I mean, you either give up or you get through it, no matter how hard it is, no matter how hard, how challenging, and that too will come and it will reflect in your trading, because this is such a mental game at the end of the day.
It really is.
So, it's just all about persevering. And that goes for anything, whether you're trading, your family, whether you have like a normal job, whatever you're doing, like you have no choice, to sink or swim.
Yes, and I love that outlook. Now, for me, it's came down to the fact that like having a consistent routine is when I've done best. Now, there's always going to be stuff outside of trading that's going to affect you, and the way that you handle it is actually going to affect your trading. And so one of the ways that I learned to overcome these things that have happened in my life is to consistently have like a routine. Within my trading, I'm always looking at the charts at the same time of day. I'm trying to go to the gym at the same time every day, and just like Monday through Friday, I'm trying to stay on the best routine that I can. Do you have a specific routine that you do, or what's your routine look like?
Right now, no. I want to be on a routine, but my life in the last really 8 months has been so chaotic and sporadic. It's almost impossible to keep a routine, and that's just from like, traveling to go see my son, other work things, other family issues, that I've had to deal with and still overcoming. I feel like I'm finally at the tail end of all of this, right? But I want to get back on a routine desperately. I need it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, during like all this, how much has that outside factor affected your trading, would you say?
In the beginning, it did. I went on probably like a 3 or 4 month losing streak. Really? I blew my first account in a year during that time. I'm not going to get into all the details, but yeah, it definitely affected me. And, I've had to slow down, and do things such as far as trading goes, lower my lot sizes, trade with less capital, honestly cut back, because at the end of the day, we want to make money. And, I blew that first account, and it's outside factors, things that you're dealing with, friends, family, whatever it is, and it will affect you.
Yes, what I've noticed throughout like my journey through the 7 years of trading is like the times that my life is the hardest outside of trading, I notice it and I've corrected it, but that's when I kind of have that like F it moment where it's like I'm in the trading, I'm like F it. I'm just going to place the
Right.
trade here, because you only have so much mental space to actually like process
Yeah.
and keep everything going. And that's one of the things is like, for me, the first step of that was like realizing that, okay, this isn't working how I need it to work. And so that's why I think that I made it clear that the routine was going to be the number one priority for me. And to develop that mental space of like making sure that I do not go outside my limits and my rules of my trading. That's been like a huge thing for me. And I think that's one of the number one things. Like, trading already is very risky. It's a risky, like if it's your daily life, that's how you're making money. It's a risky business.
For sure.
And it's one of those things that's you have to have that mental capability to control yourself within your trading zone, where when you're trading, you have to like be able to be all in and kind of forget about what's going on in the background.
Right.
And going through all the stuff that I've gone through is I've had my times where I've had to step away from the charts and, you know, just kind of get my life in order to be my best trading self.
Yeah. And I think that comes with time too, that like you don't have to place a trade.
Yes.
Like it's okay to step back and just not do it.
It
you know?
really is.
Like you can observe and watch, you know, from the stand, so to speak. But knowing when to walk away, and especially if you know that your personal life is interfering, that will take you so much further in the long run. And then if you can get as far as where you can still make money even through the turmoil, you're unstoppable.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. That's where I'm challenging myself right now. Like, I've got turmoil in my life from decisions that I've made, honestly. But like me navigating through this situation is ultimately, once I get through this situation, there's literally no stopping me. There's no way like that I can fail.
Right. You know, and I think first things first is like, you know what you're looking at.
Yes.
That's the thing. And it just goes to prove how emotional, even if you are a good trader or you're not, or whatever the factor is, if you do not have those emotions dialed in, it doesn't matter what you see.
Mm-hmm.
It will get you 9 times out of 10.
It really
it's humbling.
will.
It's really humbling.
It is. It absolutely is. And then, you know, you go through these different aspects, but another thing that's really like helped me is focusing on what's the problem. And this goes in relationship, with life, with work. What is holding you back, and how do you tackle that situation? And something that I do, like if I notice I'm doing something or there's a problem in my relationships, the first thing I will do is I will go to someone that has dealt with this type of problem, whether it's a YouTube video or a book, and learn from somebody who's handled that problem and deal with it, or at least get another perspective of what's going on and how to handle that situation. And I think that a lot of people don't utilize all the information that's out there as they should. They kind of just expect to just navigate through it by themselves, when us as humans, it's okay to look for help.
It is. That 100%. Like, especially as guys, like, oh, I can handle it. I can do it. You know,
Yes.
bring it on. It's fine. It's whatever. But like, it's okay to reach out for help, to get advice. You know, it's no one, at the end of the day, no one knows or has life figured out. We're all just kids still learning until we die.
Exactly.
You know, so, you know, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to do all these things, good, bad. We're all human at the end of the day, but you have to learn from it and just persevere and move on. And especially with trading, like, I don't know if there's anything else that you can do that will teach you more about yourself than trading.
I agree with you, because, man, you have to go through every single trade of the not knowing. Like, you know, this trade setup's something that looks like it's going to win, but you don't know.
Right.
And learning how to navigate through those emotions of, oh, okay, this isn't reacting where I thought it was going to react. And then, okay, this is reacting how I wanted it to react. But then all of a sudden it goes back down to your entry or goes into your stop loss, like navigating all that. That's like, you deal with a lot of emotions. You know, you can be up big and then smack down back to square one.
Right.
And I think that the only way you're going to get better is through experience. And then, like I said, tackling the problems and ask people for help, how they manage those type of problems.
That's literally why we're here, because we want to help, because we've gone through it. You know, like you've been in all this longer than me, but we're about the same age. So like life experience wise, whatever it is, you know, it's okay to reach out, because we all have something that we can take, as long as you're doing what, you know, something constructive.
Exactly.
You know, you can always take something from someone, and that doesn't mean that you have to follow their advice or anything to a T.
Exactly. You kind of just take it, process it, and see how you want to handle it with what they gave you.
Right.
And, you know, everyone in this office has had issues that we've all, you know, came to each other and talked to each other about. And it's good to have another ear to listen, and then, you know, somebody to help you navigate through that situation and how they experienced it. And I think that's so good to have. You need to have those people that are there to listen to you, and make sure that they're, you know, you pick people that really listen to you. And that alone is going to help you a lot. You know, I've preached the Pareto principle for years now. You could be doing 80% right, but the 20% that you're not doing is what is holding you back. And so when you tackled that 20%,
that 20% can be heavy.
Yeah, very heavy. You know, it could be just one little thing that you're doing wrong that's absolutely stopping you from the success that you deserve.
Right.
So figure what that is that's holding you back, tackle it, improve on it, and then just keep inching yourself away to get better at whatever you're trying to get better at.
Right. If this is what you want to do, like, you have to put the environment that you need around yourself.
Exactly.
Because if you don't have that, then you're not going to be able to get it 9 times out of 10.
And this is another thing. Like Grant the other day is like, guys, do you mind if I trade from home? And it's like, I get it. Like, that's your comfort zone. I would rather trade from home.
Right.
Right now, I just don't have the capability, because in my house, I just, with 2 toddlers screaming, yelling, like I can't focus how I need to focus. So being at the office is where I have to be. But for you, you're at your home now, I believe, trading, which is probably benefited you a ton. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
like I said, it's all about building the environment and surroundings that you need to be able, because like, you know, guy, girl, like we're all adults and we have to provide at the end of the day. So like having the right whether it's having the right people, the right environment, whether it's something internally, cutting out that negativity is so important, you know, and sometimes doing that will be the hardest thing that you've ever had to do.
It's very true. Very true. That cutting out that negativity is like, sometimes you do have to, you know, step up and say what you need and do what you need, even if it's going to hurt somebody's feelings. Like, you just got to do, ultimately in this business, what is best for yourself and what's going to help you succeed the most.
Right. I don't think just this, with anything, you know, if you want to live the life that you want, you have to do that. If you have someone in your life that's hindering you, holding you back, whether they're putting you down or whatever the scenario, the situation, you know, someone that doesn't believe in you, you know, honestly, let that fuel you.
Yes.
Cut it out. Let it fuel you.
Exactly.
You know,
I love that. You know, we obviously got back from the summit a couple weeks ago, and that was like kind of a eye-opening experience for me, because I saw all these people that were doing better than me, and they deserved it. They have been consistent and working on their whatever they're doing and getting in touch with the right people to put them where they are. And for me, that was like an eye-opening experience. Like, I can do better, and I want to do better, and I have to do better. So that's just another thing where, like, you have to look at yourself within. take the ego away and just like realize what is real. And ultimately, if you just look at the real version of yourself and how you're doing and improve on that, it's gonna help you. And I think that's something that really holds people back is they have all these excuses, but at the end of the day, like, you're in control of your life. You're the one that, like, do you belong where I am? Well, then make yourself belong here and make it happen. Don't just like sit on the sidelines, like start something.
Right. It all starts with you taking that initiative. Like, that's the other thing too. If you want to be good at trading, you have to kind of really anything you do, you have to fall in love with it and find a passion for it, because if not, you're going to lose interest. You're not going to care. So you have to actually want to care, and if you're going to do this and you want to make this, another income, or you want to have the $50,000-$100,000 days, then you have to do what it takes, and that includes outside of that too.
Yes, that is big. Like, outside of trading and setting yourself up that way you don't have to solely just work on just like, all right, I have to make trading work. Like, make it work outside of trading where you feel comfortable to have those big days, like, and have the ability to actually make those big days without blinking,
Right.
And ultimately that's going to take a process, but you have to want it so bad and you have to be so passionate about it to make yourself be in that position.
And it takes patience to get there. Like last night, I was on a live, and I was on a London, and I had everyone, unmute and undo their cameras, and I was talking to everyone, and he's like, hey, I'm trying to pass this challenge. It's a 100K challenge on top tier, but I started a few days ago. I'm already down $5,000. I'm like, well, what are you trading? What's your lot sizes? I'm trying to help him identify the problem to fix it. And he's like, I'm trading. I'm not used to trading, this much money, and I'm seeing this drawdown. I'm like, cut it back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he had one trade in profit, and he was up like 35 pips, and he ended up losing like $3,000 on the trade. I'm like, why didn't you put your stop loss in profit? So sometimes the problem is trading, and just little tweaks like that, like, you wouldn't lose that money.
Exactly.
If you would just put, it's all about strategy, and you have to implement everything else around outside your life, back into trading. So it's fine tuning in really every aspect.
Yes. And especially, trading is one of the hardest things to be continually profitable at the end of the year, probably more than any industry out there. But at the end of the day, it's very doable, but you have to be very particular about every aspect of your trading. Like you said, something as simple as just putting your stop and profit at a certain point. Like, for me, one of my biggest rules is the first area of confluence that the market can go against me, I immediately put my stop in profit.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it can turn around at that confluence.
Here's a perfect example. I called sells on oil this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I was up probably $1,200-$1,300. Went right our way. Called it in the group. We had barely any drawdown. Called it, and I'm sitting there. And this is another thing. Like, this isn't a problem, but like, just dealing, especially as being a father.
Mm-hmm.
When you have kids, and I'm looking on the lower time frame, and I'm like, okay, this thing is about to buy up. And literally typed it in, and then all of a sudden he's screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I come back and look, like, I'd already told everyone to put their stops at break even,
Mm-hmm.
And I had moved mine down, but like, I'm trying to balance being a dad. I'm taking care of my girl who just had surgery, and I'm still trying to work and balance all these things out. And it's like, well, no one lost money, and I hope some people closed, because I think,
Mm-hmm.
a few people for sure took the trade. But like, it's a lot to balance, and it's a lot of responsibility, especially with what we're doing and calling signals. Like, there's trading, and then all of a sudden there's people that are literally relying on you every week to be consistently profitable.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think taking on Trader Society with all of us is a whole new level of responsibility that I actually like, because it holds us accountable at the end of the day, and it if anything, it makes us a little more disciplined on like what we're doing, what we're calling, but you still have to take care of everything outside of that too.
It's a lot. And that's why we're on this podcast right now, because we were just talking about it. Like, man, you know, I have 2 toddlers. You have your boy with you right now. And it's like, it's difficult. Like, your boy's crying and you're trying to take care of him, but you're also trying to manage a trade. And I've had that question asked me a lot. Like, how is it being a dad and being a trader? And I'm going to tell you, it has significantly changed my trading, because I love trading London. But at the end of the day, like, I'm telling myself, dude, you're trading London tonight. But when you're getting 4 hours of sleep and you're trying to do it and you just like take a little nap, you just tell yourself, I'm going to take a nap.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it's 3 hours later and you're exhausted.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't do that. I'm going to have to wake up for New York.
Right.
And that's a struggle that I am struggling with immensely, because I'm out of my routine with my kids. You know, I want to be able to trade how I like to trade in my zone and not have to manage other things. But the reality of it is that I'm a dad, and being a father is always going to come first for me on everything. And now I have to find my way around that. And that's going to be me losing hours of sleep. It's going to be me, you know, having to take time to, you know, get out of my routine and do what it's necessary to be a family man and a father and accomplish everything in my life. And it's a sacrifice, but it's just a season, you know?
For sure.
In 5 years from now, I'll look at this and everything's going to be exactly how I want it. But this is just that season where it's going to show me who I really am.
Right.
Like, can you grind and can you make this absolutely happen with all this stuff on the sidelines?
Right. And like, as a man too, like, it is so important to have, you know, your girl or your partner be supportive. Like, you need that girl to love you no matter who you are or what you do or what stage you go through, and you need to be there for her in the same way.
Yes.
Like, I will say, it's literally borderline impossible to do this whenever you have a partner that doesn't support you.
It is absolutely impossible.
It will make you want to pull your hair out, you know.
But that's, like you said, if you're not being supported in that way, you have to make sure to tackle the situation and let them know how you need to be treated to accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Right. You have to address that really first, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your family, that's your household, your sanctuary. That's where you have to go to bed to every night.
Yep.
You know, so that's one thing that I've learned is, like, having someone there that supports you is immensely huge.
Definitely. And I was listening to a Jordan Peterson podcast the other day. I actually was just telling Conrad about this. You know, the important things are the small things that you do every day. Like, how are you getting greeted when you get home? If it's not much, well, that's 15 minutes of your day every day.
Mm-hmm.
So that routine right there alone should be something that's like a supportive, uplifting thing that's in your life. How are you eating dinner with your family? Is it boring and is it like negative? Like, that's another 45 minutes of your day.
Right.
You know, if you can make those things be very positive and uplifting every day,
right,
that's going to make everything around you change.
You know what? One thing that, so I'll just go ahead and say, like, I've been in a new relationship, and my approach has been completely different. You know, one thing I've done, I've basically completely cut out watching TV. Like, like when I go to my mom's and I go, you know, pick up my son in Texas and come back here, right? Like, the most TV I'll watch is with him there, you know. But other than that, like, I have looked for other creative outlets that have allowed me to do better really everywhere in life.
I love that.
You know, like, I bought a drum set. My girl got a bass guitar. You know, whenever we're not trading or doing whatever, or, playing Uno, whatever we're doing, like we're looking at creative outlets, something that we can like learn and grow together.
I love that.
And something that will build you together. So like when I'm here at the office, I got a drum set in the next room. We got Chris, we play music. We'll be here late, we'll look at charts, play music, whatever. It's a lot of fun. It's a good creative outlet. It's bonding. When I'm home, I have a bass guitar, play a couple hours a day, learning chords, whatever. And it's being constructive, and it doesn't always have to be money and business.
Yes, I love that.
And that's something that like you can do, in my advice, whatever it is, like something that you can do with your family, your friends that uplift each other and bring you closer without, there's no reason to sit and fight over everything.
Exactly. Being able to turn just that little switch off in your brain where you don't have to think about the day-to-day stuff.
Right.
I think is so important.
Right.
For at least get 30 minutes a day of that where you can just not have to think about all the maybe problems or things that you have to get done. Just shut your brain off, let your brain heal a little bit, and just do something that's allowing you to kind of be free in that moment.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing. And I love that you freaking don't watch TV. Like,
don't watch TV.
TV is, it's bad.
It's bad.
And it's like, it does nothing for you. Like I get, another thing I was just talking to Conrad about, like, you get antsy when you're watching something that you honestly don't care about.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm trying to see, like maybe your spouse likes a TV show and you're sitting there trying to, be a good spouse and watch that TV show with her.
Right.
For me, it's so hard. My wife loves reality TV and I'm sitting there like, but she also loves that quality time when we're watching reality TV together. But in my mind, I'm like, dude, I could be doing something that's productive.
Right.
But still, you gotta, give and take.
Right.
And ultimately, what you guys are doing, slapping the bass and playing the drums, that's a very good bonding time.
Right.
And
right.
You're learning.
Yeah, you're learning something. It builds, morale to your, I don't know if that's the right word, but it builds more character to yourself.
Definitely.
Just having those creative outlets and cutting out TV are huge. Like you have your chart time, we have work, we have businesses, but like we still have families, and like you're going to sit, like at least for me, everyone's different. Like I'm not judging anyone what they do, but it doesn't work for me. And like I want to have creative bonding outlets, like whether we're playing cards, chess, whatever it is, like always want to be doing something constructive instead of just sitting there. The most TV I watch is with my kid because, sometimes they're crying and
I guarantee you, if you do those types of things, play a board game with your spouse instead of turn on the TV.
Right.
I promise you guys, your connection's going to grow, as well as like you're not going to have those problems or as many problems as like if you're sitting there just kind of doing nothing but sitting by each other every day.
Right.
Like do fun things. Like it's going to spice it up a little bit.
You're going to be looking over them like, this is boring. Like, and then all of a sudden you got attitude, and it's just, it like that's my advice. If anyone's struggling in a relationship or anything, pick up a hobby with them.
Yeah,
enjoy.
I love that. Yeah. So being outside of the house, like I've made it a very clear thing that I have to go on a date at least once a week with my wife outside of the house, no kids, and just because you do get caught up like spending time with the kids, and it's like that's not sexy,
No.
So get outside of the house, have a few drinks together or whatever you guys want to do, but like make sure you're spending that quality time with whoever your significant other is, and it's going to help you with every aspect of your life because you want your spouse and you to have a good relationship because it's going to reflect in your trading.
Right. Because I got enough stress whenever I'm trading. The last thing I need is stress.
Exactly. Like I need peace at home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you have that, it will show.
Yes.
It will absolutely show.
It shows in your trading tenfold.
Yep.
But that's just things you learn as you grow. I've hoped that some of you are learning from this because, I was 21 9 years ago. I did all that stupid stuff and I went through the arguments and like didn't have a really good tactic on how to fix it. And then you start learning and it's like things like we're telling you that really actually are making every day better.
Right. And like, I'll be the first to say, like, your approach and everything will directly influence the outcome. Like, I know from experience, I would bark back, maybe should have approached it or handled things differently. And it's all learning at the end of the day. And if you don't learn from it, you're not going to do better. And you're not going to keep people in your life that maybe you should care about, either. Like, and not to mention we have kids. They're seeing what we do and how we handle situations.
Exactly.
So it's like, how do you want your kid to be? That's how you need to hold this. That's how you need to hold that standard to yourself.
Definitely. And another thing that I think that kind of helped me in that situation, like, as being a man, we want to like find solutions for problems. Right. And the woman brain doesn't necessarily think like that. They're kind of in the moment.
Right.
So the number one thing we do is try to provide this solution. They don't want to hear solution. And that's why. They want to
know why.
Yes. And that's why I go, okay, do you want a solution or do you just want me to love you? Anytime we have any issues, that's my go-to. And it's always, they just want to be held at the end of the day. Hugged, loved. They don't want a solution. They already probably know. But
right. In
that moment, they just want somebody to be there for them, love them, and hold them.
Right.
And that's helped my relationship a lot. Like, because I am such a, like, all right, let's get down to the bottom of this. When there's fights involved, like, I need to solve this. Sometimes it's good just to take that step away and just like walk it off, come back. I was listening to this thing where it takes like 4 hours for your brain, the chemicals in your brain from being angry to actually like come back down to a level of like actual thinking and,
right.
Not being so like, maybe the solution doesn't need to be fixed right away.
Right. No, for sure. Like I just went through it,
mm-hmm.
From the last trip we all took. Like, I was in the wrong at one point. I apologized, right? But then there was some other things where like that happened where I needed to step back and just let things cool down before I approached anyone about anything,
mm-hmm.
Because like, you don't want to say or do things that you can't take back.
Exactly.
You don't want to destroy relationships, and some people are so hot-headed, and I just patience, and that's one thing that trading has taught me. It's just be calm, be patient, because emotional actions will result in emotional outcomes.
Yes, I love that. I love that outlook a lot. But yeah, like, we said this whole podcast, like, if you are having outside problems, you still got to be structured within your trading. You got to make sure when you're at that trading desk, you know exactly what you're doing. And if you're not there mentally, take the step away. And, you can look at the charts, whatever, but like, if you don't have the the capability to control your emotions, don't click that button.
Yeah. Just don't trade. Take some time off.
Exactly.
You don't need to. Like, this should not be your only source of income anyways.
Exactly. And the biggest problems I've ever had in trading, the biggest losses has always been when I've been in a major fight with my significant other. And I've learned from that. So learn from me, learn from Grant, and
we've been through it.
We've been through it, baby, but we're making it happen.
We crush it.
Anyways, we hope you guys really enjoyed this podcast. Got a little bit deeper, a little bit more intimate with you guys, but this is real. You guys are real traders, or people who want to be a trader, and this stuff is the type of stuff that comes with trading.
I think everyone goes through very similar things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we all look one way, but something else is always going on.
Exactly. We all have our issues, and just learning how to navigate through those issues better is ultimately going to help every aspect of your life. So again, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We are absolutely killing it in Trader Society lately. Our signals have been fire. We're having great entries. All of us are calling great signals lately.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to get 4 to 5 signals a week. Is what we've been averaging, I'd say. And, it's one week, Anthony might kill it. 1 week, I might kill it. 1 week, Grant might kill it. But at the end of the day, you're going to probably, if you follow just the trades we post, you're gonna be profitable at the
Right.
end of the week, and that's just all we can strive for, and the best that we can do. So we appreciate you guys, and we hope that you guys are learning from us. So again, make sure you guys are following Trader Society on Instagram. Conrad will make sure that it pops up here, and follow the man Grant Hardy. He's gonna do it again, and
We'll do it again.
we'll do it again, baby.